Hello, my name is Tammy and I'm an independent jewellery maker and business owner. I also sell my work with my husband, who is an artist. In this week's vlog, I want to give you my top tips on how to do a craft fair. We've been doing events for over 10 years now, including anything from small village craft fairs to yearly street fairs or weekly markets to small music festivals. So I have lots of tips to offer anyone who is just about to start out doing their first event, or if you've been doing events for a little while and want to up your game. So my first tip is about researching the event you're going to go to. You want to look into the event and find any information you can about it. Search it on Google, see if you can find any photos of the event, what other traders might be there, what kind of stock they're selling, and if you think your items will fit into that event. I do find doing things like fun days, you are going to be next to tombola stalls, charity stalls, and cheap items like secondhand toys and things, so avoid those. You're not going to fit into those if you're selling your own handmade items. You want to look at what kind of footfall the event has. You don't want to go to anything that's only got a small footfall, but again, sometimes going to the bigger events with huge footfall doesn't work in your favour because it's so busy nobody has time to stop at your stall. You want to try and find out how many times that event has run. I don't really like going to events that are on their first time that they've ever done it. They sometimes can work brilliantly because it is the first time and local people will support it. But other times, if they haven't done their advertising right, nobody's going to know anything about it, so they're not going to turn up. You might also want to take into consideration the location of the event. Is it easy to find? Can you find it? Do you think people who are going to visit can find it? If it's in the middle of nowhere, unless it's had decent advertising, nobody's going to come. So you really need to look into the location. Unfortunately, it is a case of experience will teach you. When you've done an event a few times, you will learn whether that event is worth doing and whether you fit in. But if you have never done any, you've got to go to them first to find out. For instance, we've learned over the years that going to folk festivals works much better for our products. It's a higher age range, which suits what we're selling better. We do find if we went to, which we have done in the past, go to a younger music festival, they just tend to want to get drunk and they're not really interested in spending £40–50 on a piece of jewellery or a piece of artwork. So they don't really work for us. So experience will tell you which one works for you best. Personally, I prefer to do outdoor events where I can set up in my gazebo purely because it gives us so much more space. Because Mark and I sell my jewellery, his artwork, my wish bracelets, and sometimes we have other stock as well. We need a lot of space, and being in a village hall doesn't necessarily give you a lot of space because you've just got your 6-foot table. Saying that, I have got 3 indoor markets coming up, so I have to come up with a way of how I can squeeze all of our stock on without looking it overcrowded. And don't forget to practice putting your stand together before you go to an event. So when you're choosing your gazebo, preferably don't go for one that is a dark colour, especially if you're selling jewellery or an artwork. You need as much light as you can onto it. Our first gazebo we bought was a cheap green gazebo from, I think, Argos. It was meant for a garden, didn't withstand the wind very well, and within 3 times of using it, it had snapped, broken to pieces and had to be thrown away. I did keep the roof and the sides though. There's a little tip for you. The next one we bought was a white one, and it had a frame that goes inside the roof. I'll show you that later because I'm going to show you a little demo on how to put up a gazebo on your own at the end, so stick around for that. When you're setting up your table or your gazebo, you want to bear in mind that people will be looking at different levels of your setup, so don't just lie everything flat on the table. Create different heights and eye-catching items, so you might want to have larger items that are on some sort of display at the back, which will catch their eye from afar. That could be a banner, or in our instance sometimes it's a large framed print. I like to put my card stands or anything that people are going to flick through and take their time to choose on the ends of the tables or in the corners of the gazebo, so that they don't feel like they're pressurized when they're looking, and they're not going to be in the way of anybody else wanting to come into the middle of the stand, the gazebo or the table, to have a look at what you've got. They can just stand and take their time and choose their cards without being pressured. You want to have quite a neutral tablecloth colour. You don't want to go in for anything that's got a massive colourful mandala on it or something, because that's going to totally distract from your stock, and that's what you're advertising, not your tablecloth. I've used various different colours in the past. I've had purple velvet with white. I've been using Hessian lately, which from my past vlog will tell you that I've totally gone off because it made everything look a bit brown. So my next tablecloth I'm hoping to be white, and I might put a bit of a spiral pattern on it because both Mark and I have a lot of spirals in our work, in my jewellery and his artwork. So hopefully that's going to look a treat. I prefer to use a money belt over a cash tin, purely because then the money is always on me and I don't need to worry about somebody pinching my cash tin. I have heard stories of a row of gazebos being lined up with their backs on and somebody coming along and slashing the gazebo and reaching in and stealing all the cash tins. So I just prefer to have that one less stress and just have my money on me. So I actually made my own money belt. Here is my money belt. It's got a zip at the front, which I keep all of my safety pins in. And then this main zip, it's all been hand stitched, so it's not brilliant. If you can see, I have a zip there, and that is where I keep my big notes. So they all get hidden in there. In the front, there is another zip, and I keep my £5 notes in that one. And then in the middle, I don't know if you can see, there is basically two sections in there, which I keep my pound coins and my 50p's in. This is always ready to go, so this is all full of money, ready for my next event. It's also got a very big belt on it, which has just got an easy clip clasp on it, so that if I need to go to the loo, I can give it to Mark and he can put it around his waist, and all he's got to do is adjust this strap, and then when I come back I adjust it back. I have got £20 of pound coins, £10 worth of 50p's, £30 of £5 notes, and 2 or 3 £10 notes. If I'm doing a 2-day event, I might take a second float as well, so I never run out. And if it's a bigger event, I might take a few more £5 notes. The card reader we use is a SumUp. These are brilliant. They're really fast to use. The battery lasts forever. You don't have to pay monthly. You just pay a small percentage on each of your sales, and the money goes into your account really quickly. So we're really pleased with these. We used to use a PayPal here machine, but that took forever to turn on, whereas this one just seems to sit on standby. So every time you need to use it, you just quickly press the button and it comes on really quickly. The only downer I don't like about it is if it's particularly sunny and you're doing an outdoor event, it's quite hard to read the screen. But I will put a referral code down in the description box for one of these. Sometimes you can pick them up for £19, which I think is brilliant. And as I say, you don't pay a monthly charge on that. event can be a really long day, so you need to look after yourself. And if you're on your own, the last thing you want to do is nip off to go and buy some food, because if you're going at lunchtime and it's a big event, you could be in a queue for half an hour, 45 minutes. All that time you've left your stall on its own unattended. You might have left it with a neighbour, but you might not know them very well, so you're putting a lot of trust into them. So you need to go prepared with your own food and drink, which will last you throughout the day. I always like to have some headache tablets as well. It's guaranteed if the weather is really sunny, I'm going to end up with a headache. So just having those headache tablets on standby is really. You want to look smart, but you've also got to be comfortable. So make sure you're wearing comfortable shoes. High heels, big no-no really. I mean, you might look fantastic in them, but they're going to kill your feet by the end of the day, because most of the time you are going to be stood up. And if you're stood in the middle of a field, those heels are going to get wrecked in the grass. So when you arrive at your event, it's a good idea to make friends with your neighbours, offer to help put their gazebo up perhaps, have a quick chat with them, just to get to know each other very briefly. Obviously, you just arrived, you're busy setting up, so you don't want to spend half an hour chatting to them. But just, say to them, if you wouldn't mind later when I need to go to the toilet, keeping an eye on my stand, that would be really appreciated. And obviously I'll do it for you too. That goes a long way. However, if you're able to take somebody with you, that would be brilliant. My daughter's been coming with me since she was about 12 years old. She knows all of my stock. She knows the prices. She knows the codes that we use to write things down. Which is brilliant. So I can pop off to the toilet for 10 minutes or whenever, how long I need, and knowing that the stand is fine in her care. Obviously, my husband always also comes with me because it's his work we sell as well, so I know he's fine. Doing a craft fair is a really long day, so obviously you are going to need to sit down at some point. Ideally, though, not on a low chair. You're going to be hidden behind all of your display, so people are not going to think that there's anybody there. Or you're going to pounce up like a jack in the box when somebody comes into your stand, and that makes you look a little bit desperate for a sale. Or it makes you look like you're going to be pouncing on that customer and giving them a hard sale, which is going to make them scurry off with their tail between their legs in fear of having this pressurized sale. So ideally, I like to sit on a high stool. I also use it as a bit of a workbench, and if I do need to sit down on this high stool, I'm more or less at eye level still with my customers when they come in, so I don't have to jump off the chair. I can just talk to them, say hello when they come in, be friendly, and then let them have a look at my stand without looking like I'm desperate for the sale. And I'm sitting comfortably at the same time. Don't forget you're on show all the time, whether somebody's in your stand or they're not, because somebody might be looking at you from afar. So if you're sat there looking at your phone, scrolling through Facebook, you're going to look a bit bored and very unprofessional. So you want to look like you're busy, titivating around your stall, tidying bits up, but not so busy that somebody can't get in because you're in the way, and you don't want their business because you're so busy tidying up. So there's a fine line between looking busy and not too busy. Definitely not on your phone, no scrolling Facebook. That's a big no-no.